Hello everyone, me again. Back in the office, doing all the fun stuff. I've just got home from work and it's so hot outside. I apologise if it's a bit warm, looking a bit sharp. I've been struggling to think what we can talk about while we take a small break from regular filming on this channel, because we've reviewed pretty much everything behind me. Minus one bottle of bourbon, which I don't think many people would be that interested in. It's like super niche, which is a little bit ironic given what we're about to review. And I've left loads of stock at work because that's where we normally film. And I'm just kind of waiting to get that back on track again. Been a bit lazy, so I've not really done much. But today we are going to drink and talk about Sazerac 18-year-old. This is the summer batch from 2017. It's been slightly enjoyed by me and a couple of friends. I picked this up in March of 2020, along with a bottle of Tom Handy, which is up there somewhere. And I love Sazerac. I love the 6-year-old. The 18, when I've tried it, has always been incredible. And I've always wanted to complete the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, like the full range, but I've never really been a fan of Eagle Rare 17, Sumi. I think the 10 is much better, and what most secondary market prices are for Eagle Rare 17, it's just climbing and climbing and climbing. Although they did increase the the alcohol percentage. It was 45, as is this, but I think they've upped it to 50.5 now. So fair play Buffalo Trace. It does make it a little bit more interesting. So I will need to try it again. But for the minute, it's my least favourite of the 5. But with this Sazerac, I know a lot of people tend to sort of get a bit disappointed with them these days. I think it's either 2015 or 2016. They stopped Buffalo Trace stopped using all the vatted stock they have, which contain much older whiskies. So I think one of those 2 years is like the finale for like the super old stock. Nonetheless, the fact I managed to get a bottle of this for retail price, it's still quite a delicious whiskey. Let's give you a little bit of history about it. In terms of the idea of Sazerac, we talked about Sazerac in the past, the idea of like the first cocktail. I think the old fashioned was like the first ever written down cocktail, and then variations on that are just called like I think just a whiskey cocktail. I think that's its exact name. But obviously the Sazerac, New Orleans, Tom Handy, Antoine Pritchard, and the Coffee House and all that stuff, creating the Sazerac cocktail. And this bottle, I've left it downstairs. I've got a bottle of the 6-year-old, but it's downstairs. Those two are an ode to that style. And on the Tom Handy bottle, which I'll get down now, there is a picture. Obviously, this will be backwards of the coffee house itself. So that kind of sits there. So these two are actually the same recipe. Just this is the 6-year-old at cash strength. This particular one is also 2017 at 63.6, whereas this is it at 18 years old and not at cash strength. So put those two there. Quite nice to have them side by side on the desk rather than on a shelf. I'll realign myself. And we'll talk about the beauty of Sazerac 18. Oh, the nose. No matter what batch, like it's always incredible. It's always such good quality whiskey from Buffalo Trace. I've done many videos that are essentially love letters to the Buffalo Trace distillery, as have many people in this industry. But this is up there. This is like W.L. Weller level, and Stag too, and Handy, and all the regular stuff. Fallen a bit out of love with Blanton's. That's a separate conversation. But the nose, it's just that beautiful, clean spearmint style. Kind of leaning a little bit into peppermint too. That bottle has been open for, I would say, 18 months-ish. That was the first bottle I opened when I bought them, and I said I'd save the Handy for a different occasion. But the nose is full of spearmint and peppermint. There's a beautiful cigar box smell to it as well. For some reason, I've mentioned this in a recent video, I think it was the Craig Ellicky video from last week. My dad, for some reason, used to bring home empty cigar boxes. He used to smoke roll-up cigarettes, so I don't know why he had empty cigar boxes. But he did, and the smell of them as a kid, I used to just put stuff in it, like Pokemon cards and like random little bits of things that I used to like find, like, you know, coins on the street and stuff. Enough about that. But it has this beautiful smell of empty cigar boxes, that musty tobacco leaf, cigar leaf sort of smell. Candy corn, cream corn. It's not something we get a lot in the UK. I have experienced it in America and some sort of specialist sweet shops in the UK with candy corn in particular. Drenched in caramel. Beautiful, luscious, thick, creamy caramel. Sweet, I should say. Slightly spicy. Slightly mentholic. Mentholic a word? Probably not. Just stunning. It smells significantly older than it is. If you're going to reference this to Scotch whiskies, I don't really think anything that's 18 years old has that particular smell. I've experienced some older Craig Ellice's, some older independent Macallans, and some older Ardbegs, which have like a similar nose to it. This isn't peated in any way at all. But as Ardbeg gets older, it gets so much lighter and grassier, and that peppermint eucalyptusy thing does kick around in it. Taste. I will say, it's gotten a little bit spicier. I haven't drank for about 4 days, so maybe that's why it seems a little bit spicier. Certainly from the last time I tried it and made notes, which I've had to reference for this episode. The rye, obviously, it is mellow. It is gentler. And it gives you a pathway into these flavour profiles that I think are very underrated within rye whiskey. Like the taste of caraway and these tiny little flecks of almost like Indian curry spice. Like it's a little bit of garam masala, like a bit of turmeric. They linger in the back. I once bought a like turmeric latte because I was feeling particularly tired one day and I was just on a coffee binge, and the finish of this whiskey is like that. It's gently warming, it kind of pulses, and it's full of these garam masala, turmeric. There's a little bit of black licorice, ginger. It's a beautiful contrast to the sweetness what it starts out with. And when I first tried this whiskey, I was given it blind. It was one of the rare times I was ever in a casino. I don't go into casinos because I'm not very good at gambling and I don't really like it. And my friend, who lives in London now and constantly sends me pictures of whiskey collections that I'm very jealous of, he just gave it to me in a glass. It was in a tumbler. It was kind of warm as well, fresh out the dishwasher. Very busy bar at the casino. And I was smelling it and I was convinced it was a cognac. And obviously there's a link there between Sazerac and cognac and the cocktail and the origins, but I was convinced it just has that really gently warming thing that cognac just has, you know. Even though this isn't particularly big on like dried fruit flavors or even fresh fruit flavors, I wouldn't say it's a particularly fruity whiskey in any way. And then now as I talk, the lingering thing is that sort of tobacco leaf thing, like the richness that smoking a cigar and holding the smoke in your mouth can give you. Again, I will repeat, this isn't a peated product. There's no smoke in this. The barrels are charred. Outside of that, there's no actual smoke in any of the grain or anything. But yeah, when I was given it, I was reminded of a cognac, like a really good one. I prefer Armagnac myself. It's like significantly better value and does very similar things, but it does have the taste of a cognac to it. It's a very squeaky chair. I apologise. As I sit here in this very small room with the window closed to avoid any additional noise, slowly warming up, I thought I was cooling down. The flavours on this are to a degree of earthiness, which is kind of refreshing, if that makes any sense at all. It's just enough of it where they balance each other out. and it brings in that tobacco-y, almost like dry leather, old leather stuff. I've got one of my granddad's old wallets around here somewhere, and the smell of it, you know, it's been places, it's done stuff. This has that, not in the aroma. What I imagine my granddad's old leather wallet to taste like, which doesn't sound like a lot to you, you know, or me for that matter, but I think you all know what I mean. If you've tried older whiskies, older rye whiskies, older bourbons, or older anything, it just has that patina, ancient, musty thing going on. Years and years ago, I did write an article about the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, and indeed my love for them. It was posted on my friend's website, Boom Whisky. I'm actually going to put a link to that below. If you fancy a read about the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, if you've never heard of it before, you must be new to the channel, because I've talked about it quite a lot. There's videos on like the American whiskey selection. But yeah, I'll post that below if you are interested about it. We don't go into specific vintages, it's just more about the stories of them, and an overall view of the whiskey. I find this really difficult to score because it's hard to get. I count my lucky stars that I was able to get both of these at retail, because that's almost impossible. I also got the Weller and the Stag at retail price, all in Manchester, just a case of, you know, right place and right time. So it's really hard to score it. Purely based on flavour, like, it's pushing 9. Maybe 9.5. My brain said 9 first, so I'm going to say it's a 9 out of 10. It is a wonderful example of how beautiful old rye can be, because rye does separate people in American whiskey when they first start out. Some can be a bit too spicy, it can be a bit too dry. People prefer bourbon because it's generally a bit sweeter. Flavour-wise, taste-wise, smell, 9 all day. I'm not going to deduct points. Jeremy at Sipper Social Club, his scoring's great because he gives an overall score and then he deducts points for like value and stuff. I've no idea what the going rate is for one of these on secondary because I just stopped looking because it just became ridiculous. I think at one point they were going for like north of 750, probably more, maybe 1,000 plus, possibly now. So I find it difficult to sing the praises of a bottle when you all can't get it, but I would give it a solid 9. If you can try this whiskey, if I keep doing this, is it confusing for the camera? If you can try this whiskey, please do. Along with all of the antique collection, they're all delicious. You might love Eagle Rare 17. I'm just not a fan. But yeah, thank you all for watching another improvised video. As a wonderful comment, I think it was by Chris Malloy, I think. It's like, we're not here to watch IMAX, we're here to listen about whiskey. And I was like, yeah, he's right. Although I've still not replied to that comment, so I'm sorry, Chris. Been a very busy week in work. But as this video hits the 13-minute mark, I will call it a day. I need a shower pretty badly. You didn't need to know that, but it's just been one of them days. But I'll call it a day. Thank you all for watching. We should be back to regular filming next week, and I've got some treats for you. I don't want to tell you what they are because it'll just ruin it. But big smoke. We've got 2 big smoky whiskies. We've got something which I didn't think we'd ever be able to review, but we've been sent it. It's already been opened. It's being sent around a few people. You might know what it is. And there's another one. What's the other one? Oh, a new bottling of something. Watch this space. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye.